We did not find a cave.
We found an open throat. 90 meters down. It inhaled every 60 seconds.
With mechanical, suffocating precision.
The vapor contains complex proteins, freshly dissolved.
In mineral rot.
5 cavers went missing here.
We found their climbing helmets, fused directly into the limestone.
Their skulls were still inside.
Growing like natural stalagmites. The medical scan showed something.
Impossible.
The bone cells were alive.
The stone was eating them.
And they were, still screaming.
Deep within the karst jungles of central Vietnam, the laws of meteorology do not apply. On April 14, 1995, a joint British-Vietnamese research expedition recorded a sudden, violent drop in barometric pressure. It was not a storm approaching from the East Sea. The pressure drop was localized, centered directly over a yawning chasm hidden beneath the thick canopy of Phong Nha Bang. The entrance to Son Doong is a jagged wound in the limestone crust.
A sheer 90-meter vertical drop into absolute, suffocating darkness.
For generations, local hunters and woodcutters avoided this chasm.
They spoke of a roaring wind that screamed from the wet throat of the earth.
But when we deployed forensic atmospheric scanners at the cave mouth, the data revealed a chilling anomaly. The cave does not simply vent cold air due to thermal differences.
It inhales.
Every 60 seconds, the wind direction reverses with absolute, mechanical precision, like a petrified, colossal lung, drawing a slow, agonizing breath from the upper world. We set up gas chromatography equipment to analyze the exhalation. The chemical signatures shattered our geological models. The air coming from the deep shaft contains trace organic compounds, unidentifiable, complex proteins suspended in water vapor.
It is a warm, moist exhalation that smells of mineral rot, old iron, and wet fur.
The earth here is not a dead, passive sphere of silent stone. It is a dormant biological machine. And as we anchor our static ropes to the wet limestone, we realize we are not exploring a cave.
We are crawling down the trachea of a sleeping beast.
We descend into the main passage, a void so vast that a Boeing 747 could fly through it without clipping its wings. The darkness here is absolute.
Heavy and ancient.
The water running through the underground river is pitch black, carrying no silt or surface mud. We set up a temporary forensic lab at the base of the first massive breakdown pile. Our mission was to collect biological specimens from the cave floor. We gathered pale, eyeless woodlice, translucent cave spiders, and blind fish swimming in the stagnant pools. But when we ran these specimens through a portable DNA sequencer, the results caused immediate panic among the research team. These creatures are not simply deep cave adaptations of surface species. Their evolutionary timeline is a closed loop. That does not point back to the surface. Their cellular walls lack the core proteins found in all terrestrial life.
They do not share a common ancestor with anything that crawls under the sun.
Under the microscope, we observe that their transparent exoskeletons are coated in a thin layer of bioluminescent jade fluid. This fluid does not generate light through normal chemical reactions like luciferin. It vibrates at a constant, high frequency of 43 Hz. They are not starving in this absolute darkness. They are thriving on an unknown, dark source of energy radiating from the deeper water table. They did not adapt to the darkness.
The darkness grew them.
At the first Dolin, the ceiling of the giant cavern collapsed millions of years ago, allowing a thin, ghostly shaft of sunlight to pierce the dark. This light has created a sunken jungle, a dense patch of green thriving hundreds of meters below the surface. The guides call it the Garden of Eden. But as we step into the damp foliage,
we realize this is no paradise.
The trees do not grow straight toward the light. They are warped, twisting in unnatural, geometric patterns, their trunks spiraling like DNA helices. Their leaves are not green. They are a pale, sickly white yellow, completely devoid of chlorophyll. We extracted soil core samples from the roots of these mutated trees. Forensic chemical analysis showed zero traces of nitrogen, phosphorus, or organic humus.
Instead,
the soil is heavily saturated with radioactive isotopes. This radiation does not originate from uranium or radium deposits in the bedrock. The forensic sensors registered a localized, low-frequency electromagnetic pulse rising directly from the deep subterranean water table. The plants here are not performing photosynthesis. They are feeding on the electromagnetic radiation of the abyss. Their root systems do not claw into the dirt for water. They grow downward, wrapping around the massive limestone pillars. Like desperate, hungry veins, they are draining the marrow of the stone. If you stand perfectly still in the middle of this pale jungle, you can hear them.
A soft, wet, rhythmic ticking sound. The sound of hundreds of mutated roots drinking from the dark, radioactive earth.
Abnormal cavity matrix detected.
At the far end of the second doline lies the Great Wall of Vietnam, a massive, 80-meter-tall barrier of solid calcite that blocks the path like a fortress door. To normal explorers, it is a geological marvel of dripping mineral deposits.
But to our forensic structural team, it is a crime scene.
We used ground-penetrating radar to scan the internal density of the wall. The radar profiles did not show the irregular, layered deposits typical of flowstone and stalagmites. Instead, the interior structure consists of hollow, interconnected cavities identical to the trabecular structures of human bone marrow. The density of the mineral matches calcified organic bone. This wall was not formed over millions of years of water dripping. It was grown. We chipped away a small sample of the outer crust for chemical analysis. The lab results showed high concentrations of phosphorus, calcium, and collagen proteins, the exact building blocks of a vertebrate skeleton.
We are not looking at a cave wall. We are standing inside the petrified ribcage of an ancient, titanic organism.
The limestone pillars surrounding us are not stone. They are the fossilized vertebrae of a leviathan, woven directly into the tectonic crust of the earth. And the Great Wall is its spine, keeping the subterranean chamber from collapsing under the weight of the mountain above. In the deepest, uncharted chamber of the cave, the underground river roars with violent, destructive force. But as we deployed our specialized underwater hydrophones, we realized the sound was not just turbulent water.
Our acoustic sensors recorded a steady, repeating pulse. A subhertz frequency operating between 5 Hz and 12 Hz.
It is completely inaudible to the human ear, but its physical impact on the human body is devastating. Within 45 minutes of entering the chamber, our team members suffered severe physical trauma.
First came the sudden, violent nosebleeds as the low frequency caused capillary rupture in the nasal passages. Then, severe auditory hallucinations of whispers in an ancient, non-human tongue. Finally, extreme heart arrhythmia as our cardiovascular systems tried to synchronize with the subterranean pulse.
The frequency matches the acoustic resonance of a massive, beating heart. A slow, mechanical thumping coming from miles beneath the cave floor. We lowered a titanium probe into the black water of the river. At 300 meters, the steel cables began to vibrate violently, and the line went slack.
When we winched the probe back to the surface,
the thick titanium casing was completely crushed, imploded by an artificial, localized hydraulic pressure that defies the laws of physics at this depth. The water is not flowing due to gravity. It is being pumped. Something deep beneath the limestone is actively circulating the fluid, maintaining the life support system of the Colossus. The expedition was abruptly shut down by military order. Our data, our soil samples, and our acoustic recordings were confiscated and classified under national security protocols. The official tourist maps of Son Doong show that the cave ends at the Great Wall of Vietnam.
But our secret logs tell a very different story.
We found a bypass, a narrow, vertical fissure hidden behind the calcified bone wall.
And something was coming up through that crack. Today, the entrance to the deep shaft is heavily monitored with advanced seismic arrays and motion sensors.
They tell the public that these measures are in place to protect the fragile ecosystem of the cave from illegal tourism.
But you do not deploy military-grade seismic sensors to protect cave crickets and blindwood lice. They are listening.
They are waiting for the subhertz pulse to speed up, because our latest classified readings show that the breathing is getting faster.
The interval has dropped from 60 seconds to 45. The Colossus is waking up, and the earth beneath our feet
is about to open its eyes.